when I had found a certain level of success and realized that like the pursuit of success was like I achieved a certain level of goal that I had set for myself. And so I was like, well, okay, what do I do now? Get it, man.
What's up, everybody? We're back. Another week, another episode of Deepish Dog. That's gonna make the intro real.
Oh, good. Good.
I just want you to know, just your little gun show over there.
Yeah, come
Well,
on.
today I'm super
freak.
stoked, excited to sit down with my friend hip hop artist.
Same.
Also, some people apparently call you the James Bond of hip hop. Nate Rose, welcome to the show, brother.
Hey, man, James Bond of rap.
Hey.
That's an old moniker. I don't know if I fit the criteria. I'm not a British spy anymore.
Who came up with that?
Bro, that was a branding piece that with my old brand,
Okay.
I was doing a very like I was trying to, I've always been a man of juxtaposition.
Yep.
And I like juxtaposition.
Yeah.
And so at the time I was doing like kind of very hard rap records, but like dressing like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
in
I do.
suits and stuff like that. And so that was a easy like moniker intro that I could give for somebody to kind of contextualize what I was trying to put forward. But
Dude,
it
it's
seems
kind
very,
of dope,
very,
though.
I don't know. It feels kind of corny to me now, but
I mean, I feel that, but like also, I just had this conversation the other day. I had a girl on the pod. Her name's Krista Ella. She's a country artist.
fire.
And we were talking about, she started putting music out super early. She went to Belmont and dude graduates and like immediately like puts out like 8 songs or something like that, like within the first few months of graduating. And then COVID hits, it kind of puts a halt in it. And she's like, was talking about this thought of like at that time, like I just felt like I had to put stuff out and like I needed it. She's like, and she made a comment about how looking back, like none of like it's not good.
Mhm.
And I'm like, yeah, but I think that's the beauty of creation. Is you can get so lost in the perfection of a piece that you never do it.
Mhm.
But the flip side is you have to get it to a point where you're content to put it out and think it is as perfect as it's going to be right now. Even though you're going to look back someday and go, that wasn't it.
Yeah.
And I feel like I kind of get the same tone a little bit from you with like the James Bond pieces. Like at the time it worked and it seemed right. But now you look back, you go,
You know what I think? I think that if you're making music that's authentic, then you can look back at these different eras of your music making, and despite the sonics not being up to par, or like the vocal delivery or the mixing or whatever it is not being up to par, you can still look back on them fondly because there's like a piece of your story that's within that era of music. And unfortunately, some of the pieces of my story was like, I'm trying to make music that sounds like I'm cool. You know what I'm saying? And those are ones I
100%.
don't look fondly on because I'm like, oh, this is just like a straight ego piece.
Yeah.
But I do have like really raw music from that time when I was like also like, you know what I'm saying, getting a lot of things off my chest and stuff. And I've made music like that historically. Those records still sit really well with me, even though it's like that's not how I would approach that song.
Yeah.
That's not how I would even talk about that instance anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like
I
a
do.
lot
I
of my
do.
early songs about hurt and stuff where we had a very bitter tone with some bravado, but that which was like a defense mechanism kind of overlaid on it. But at the same time, that's where I was in my early 20s.
Yep.
That's how I interpreted and dealt with those things. You know
Yep.
what I'm saying? And
I
so
do 100%.
if you were to listen to my whole catalog from, when I started making music all the way up to now, you would see sort of like the character change like in me from also like not cussing and making more like consciously aware stuff when I was in high school to then being like really hurt and being in the worst place in my life for a few years and making like the opposite and then kind of coming out of that and finally having a little bit of like success and momentum and just making ego validating music and flexing on to then like just evolving into a place of like, wait a minute, like, okay, now I have success and where do we go from here? Where do I find my inspiration from? Where do I find motivation from? To then, you know what I'm saying, starting to get into the philosophical topics and then moving into, towards more of a Christian.
Dude, there's a lot to unpack in what you just said. because there's multiple things that you made mention of that I want to get into. And I had no intention of getting into your artist career this early, but I'm cool with it. I told you
Whatever you wanna do,
we're just
man.
gonna roll, and I love it.
We
But
could talk
like
about turtles.
turtles kind of freak me out a little bit.
Really? Why?
I don't know. There's just some things
Because they
about them.
live in their house. You live in your house.
Yeah, no, I think it's the fact that like you could pick a one. They're so slow.
They are slow, but
I don't
that's
know.
what
I don't
makes me
like
not
hate
freaked out about them.
turtles. I don't hate turtles, but it's like also things like you turtle looks friendly, and then you put your like you go to grab and it turns around and snaps your finger off.
Yeah, if you
You know what I'm
try
saying?
but if I tried to poke you in the mouth, you
Oh,
know
I
what I'm
would
saying? You might
1000%
want
try to
yeah,
bite you.
yeah, exactly, that's what I'm saying, bro.
Like,
We're really no
yeah,
different.
so dude,
Derailed!
hey,
Get him out of here!
I just want you to know,
Terrible.
I'm glad that I'm not the first one who went on a tangent in the middle of this episode because normally it's
Yeah,
me. My ADHD kicks in really
uh,
quick, and like
I'm in there.
when you're least prepared for it. But you talk about the like you making music from like a stance of authenticity.
Mhm.
Do you and like but then you talk about looking back at your career and you can tell the tone of you like you know what you went through when you were writing that stuff. Within that though, do you still feel like you were authentically you in most of it? Aside from like you talked about the time where you're writing stuff that's like just flexing and just like
Yeah.
not
Yeah, yeah.
you. How does that question make sense?
No, no, no. I think that those are, authentic representations of me as well.
Of where you were
That's
at
just
that
how I
time?
favored
Mhm.
myself. That's
Yeah.
how I, like or that's a reflection of, like, how I dealt with
Mm.
pain or how I you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, even in times where I was actually that arrogant
Yeah.
and being like, "Yeah, bro, like, I'm a business mogul, I'm the guy," like,
Yeah.
whatever. E there I mean, unfortunately, yeah, that was where my spirit was, um, and, for better or for worse. Now, some of those songs ended up becoming some of my biggest records,
Yeah.
which right now is like, ooh,
Yeah.
but also, like, providing a, stable life for my family and
100%.
you know what I'm saying?
It's like, how
So,
do you that's
yeah.
what's hard about it. I feel like as I don't know, I'm not an artist. So this
Yeah.
is just my portrayal of it. But I feel like that's what's hard is sometimes like you put out a project that is at the time you're stoked about maybe or like you're
Mhm.
confident in
Mhm.
and it does well and then you look back you go, is that what I want to be known for?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
How do you navigate that at this stage of your life? You know, having the wisdom of being in this game now for what 15 years, 16 years
Yeah, yeah.
almost,
Yeah, yeah.
and you've lived a lot of life now. You're a husband and a father.
Mhm.
And so like you look back and you go, man, that's not where I am now, but it's part of where I was.
Yeah.
How and so like to your point, like it's provided a steady and successful life. Like, can you what's the word I'm looking for? What's can you like be content in that even though it's not what you want to be known for now?
Yeah, yeah, 100%. I think, I mean, that's like the power of testimony. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm-hmm. I do. I do.
if my music was if I was always in this place, I
Yeah.
don't know if my story would be quite as powerful,
Yeah.
right? Then my ability to, like, analyze things from the past and see where I was and for my fans to kinda be on that journey with me and kinda see this evolution.
Mm-hmm.
And, I've been in and around Christian hip hop for a long time and, to kinda step into a place where, you know, my friends for many years are now like, "Oh, like, now we're getting to a place where I'm, like, really connecting with the messages in a way that I
Yeah.
wasn't before," you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? And all that stuff's really good. I think that look, man, we're all like that. We're all I don't think
100%.
anybody, hits their 30s and looks back at themselves in their 20s and is like, "Yeah, I had it figured out, and I
No.
was the
Oh,
best version of
100%.
myself."
And that's what's
You
hard
know what I
though
mean?
within that conversation is I think most of us spend our 20s thinking we've got it figured out.
Oh, yeah.
And then you like I don't know what it is, but like when you turn 30, it's like you take a magic pill of humility and perspective. For most, like
Yeah.
when I turned
Yeah, yeah.
30, it hit me. It's when I was 29, it started to hit. When I turned 30, I was on the backside of one of the most unhealthy seasons of my life. Went through a lot of hurt. Some
Mhm.
I caused myself, some I
Mhm.
caused others, some people caused to me. But like I hit 30 and like all of the chasing that I spent my 20s doing, I
Yeah.
was like, yeah, it doesn't matter
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
It's a very paradoxical in a
Yeah,
way
it is.
because when the more humble you become, that like, especially when you start engaging with the mysteries of existence, like
Mm,
you will be humbled when you just look at, like, how many things we know nothing about, right?
Yeah.
Which feels kind of crazy, in the sense that you're like, oh yeah, I know nothing, but that also simultaneously comes with more stability. It's like these things are tied together where, because you said the phrase you used was like having it figured out. Well, I definitely feel the most capable now than ever in my life of navigating any kind of situation.
Yeah.
But simultaneously, I feel like there's so much more to know that I don't hold things
Yeah.
with as much of a firm grasp, like ideas and I have, like far more nuance and stuff than I did in my early
Mhm.
20s. And like you would think that those things might be at odds. Like,
Yeah, I
oh
know what
yeah,
you
if
mean.
you know less, then you're not as confident and you're not as and it's like, well, that's not the way God works in your
Yeah.
spirit, bruh.
Yeah. Well, and I think within that conversation too, there's uh, I think the humility you tend to get the older you get if you approach life properly.
Yeah,
You
that's a
know
big that
more.
part though.
Yeah.
That part.
Yeah, right. Like because not everyone who gets older gets more humble.
Yeah, some people get worse.
Some people get worse.
Mhm.
Some people just never get past the like I'm in my 20s and I figured this out and
Mhm.
I it's some people stay in the my way the highway and I think but the reality at the end of the day is like life will humble you.
Yeah.
Like when you realize you're not where you thought you were going to be and plan to be for your life, it's going to humble you.
Yeah. Yeah, I talked about this on my story the other day, but this idea of like how important your worldview is,
Mhm.
because and when I say worldview, I'm talking about like your sub beliefs that inform your
Mhm.
actions,
Correct, you're right.
and some people have sub beliefs that are different than what they think they believe, right?
Yeah.
So you might, for example, you might claim Christianity. Oh yeah, I'm a Christian, but actually, you
Mhm.
would compromise your Christian beliefs for your career or whatever.
Mhm.
So your sub beliefs are actually
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
I do. I
But
do.
when we're talking about real sub beliefs, whatever your real sub beliefs are,
Mhm.
the closer they are to reality, moral objectivity, and objective truth, the more that over time, as you experience setbacks, the way that you interpret those events and then you put something new in its place, you are either going to grow something more beautiful or you are going to fill it with something that is worse,
Yeah.
or a
Right, right,
defense
right.
mechanism or whatever.
Yeah.
And so that's why it's so important to calibrate your experience of the world to the way that it actually is, live
Right.
within the grain of reality. And yeah, I think that when you look at people over the course of their lives, when you extend things, your habits, your disciplines and things like really catch up to you,
Oh,
you know
100%.
like
Yeah.
and look at I won't go too long on this point, but yeah, look at like
No, no,
have
you're
you ever
good.
been to like a nursing home?
Mhm.
You ever visited like a nursing home, bro?
Mhm. Yeah.
Some of the sweetest people you ever meet and some of the most
Yep.
miserable
Dude, it's
people
you talk
you'll
about a
ever meet.
juxtaposition.
Mhm.
It
And
is
it's
you
like one or the other.
it's one or the
It's
other,
like you
bro.
became enlightened
Yeah.
or you became so bitter
Yep.
that yeah.
It's like you just hit that point where at that stage you're super grateful that you're still alive and that you get to wake up every day and do it and like have new experiences with people you're around, or you're just like, take me out, I'm done. You know,
Yeah.
and like that
Yeah.
sounds so morbid and
Yeah.
dark, but it like my
But also
grandmother.
just mean
Yeah,
though.
yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah.
mean and nice or like kind. I don't like the word nice.
Dude,
Kind or mean spirited.
well,
It's like you get
I,
this
yeah, bro.
crazy.
Well, like my grandparents moved into an assisted living facility when my grandfather was still alive, and that was like fuck, like oh 08, oh 09,
Mhm.
somewhere in that time frame. My grandfather ended up passing in his mid 80s in 2011, and my grandmother, who uh, honestly, like I don't think anybody expected her to live much longer than he did. I mean, because she was slightly younger, but had health issues and stuff. Dude, when she died, when my grandfather passed, she she was always the sweetest, most God fearing, love the Lord, kind person, simple, just like what you would expect like the teetotal grandmother to be.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But when my grandfather passed, she didn't lose any of that. Stayed grateful, stayed, like super sweet. But she started like getting involved in the people, like in the life that they provided her to have at the nursing home.
Mhm.
So she lived another 12 years,
That's
13
crazy.
years.
Yeah.
Like she passed away in end of 2024 in her early 90s.
Mhm.
And so it's but it's like all that say is like we'd go spend time with her It's like we went and we took my oldest to see her like a month and a half before she passed, and like we got to play bingo together, and like
That's awesome.
and it's like I've never told this on the podcast. My wife and I've talked about it, but like we were leaving, so like we go like she lived in Roanoke, Virginia, so we go spend time with her, and like you've got like a plethora of different people in different walks of life. Like you've got people who you know have been bedridden for decades,
Mhm,
who are in this place and need careful. It's just it puts life in perspective. But like
mhm,
so we go hang out there, we spend time together, sitting there talking, and she was always a woman of few words, and the older she got, the less she talked, but she would sit there and observe and be around, and it just meant a lot to her to be around us. And
mhm.
so we're hanging out, and my parents and my youngest sister are with us, and my aunts there. We're all hanging out playing um, bingo and whatnot. So we go to leave, and she goes to dinner, and we said goodbye to her. We're gonna come see her the next, or maybe it's that next morning. She was going to breakfast, and we're leaving. And I'll never forget this as long as I live. We're leaving, and with the biggest smile on her face, she sees us leaving and just turns and waves at us like this as we're leaving. And like that's my last memory with her.
Mm.
And so it's just like, but those things, it's like that puts life in perspective. Like, dude, she was 93. She was on her deathbed. Like she
Yeah,
had
yeah, yeah.
had gotten very sick, but like, dude, still had the joy of the Lord.
Love
Still
that,
was grateful.
love that.
Still, you know what I mean? It's like, and knew this, like, my time here's coming, but like my life isn't over.
Yeah, yeah.
I just, I don't know, dude. There's something like you talk about the philosophical piece of life. There's something very deep in that, of that. When you, like, what is it that has caused these people to be on two opposite sides of the coin?
Mhm, mhm.
I, dude, I
Yeah,
just,
fighting the reality,
yeah.
the moral reality, or
When
or or going with
I
it.
would be curious to know, if you went to a nursing home and you had like, and you interviewed 30 people, and 15 were pissed and angry and hated life, and 15 were grateful uh and full of joy and life and happiness and contentment and humility, whatever. What of those 50% that you interviewed that were miserable because their life was filled with regret?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know, like, I mean, we're both young. So like
Yeah.
I don't we're on the building side of life, and trying to build careers and families and pursue passions and stuff,
Mhm.
and I the reason I say that is because I don't want to get to the end of my life and have regret of what I knew I should have done or could have done and didn't do,
Yeah, yeah. Of
because of
course,
whatever the
of
case
course.
may be. And so I wonder what, like, how many people who get to the end of their life and are miserable because they live with regret
Yeah, I
and are
mean, I even
riddled,
think regret in and of itself is something that you're able to contextualize differently if you have more wisdom. Like, there are things I would have done differently in my early 20s. Do I
1000%.
regret them? Well, I mean, I was operating in that headspace. Like,
Dude. And I
you
think
know what I
that's the
mean? Like,
perfect perspective
what am
though.
I supposed to do? Like, I'm supposed to
Yes,
just harbor like, you know what I mean?
I do, bro.
Yeah.
I was about to say that because both of us could look back at our 20s where, like, you know, y- you make decisions. Like I remember spending time with a friend of mine a few years ago, and it was that I had just left a job that most people didn't know I was not in a good place
Mhm.
during, and some did, some didn't. Most were unaware, and I didn't always make the best decisions during the course of that, and how to handle it, and what I could have done differently. And so a
Yeah.
friend of mine like said something to me about it, and I was like, "Listen, I did the could I have handled it differently 1000%,
Mhm.
but I don't regret the decisions I made because I did what I thought was best with
Yeah.
where I was in the moment and in
Right.
the season."
Right.
Like, you can look at me and say, "You should have done it this way," and it's like, "Yeah, sure," but also you didn't live the situation I lived.
Yeah, 100%.
And even for us to look back at life in our late teens, early 20s, when you make dumb decisions. Well, like, hindsight's 2020. Now we have the perspective of a father, a husband, all of these things and places we are in life now. When you look
Mhm.
back and you go, yeah, of course there's things I would do differently.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Yeah, yeah.
I also am content in life enough to not necessarily say that I would change the decisions there's not much in my life that I would change what I've done,
Mhm.
because I don't know that I would have gotten where I am now
Yeah, yeah.
if I didn't experience some of these things.
Yeah. Yeah.
How do you reconcile that when you look back at the hurt you felt in your early 20s, how that impacted the music you made, and then the ebbs and flows of your life and career. Or is there any, like you say, like you don't live with regret, but is there any part of you that would change some of it? Or are you content because you know, like, it's where you are now?
Well, I mean, I definitely would feel inclined to change certain things.
Mhm.
There's people that I hurt,
See, and I
and
think and I
you know,
sorry to interrupt you, but
yeah,
like,
go
I
ahead.
would that those are things I think I would change is, like, the decisions that I made that hurt people.
Mhm.
That's th yeah. I would there's some of that I would, but, like, the things that impacted me negatively, I don't know that I would necessarily change much of that.
Yeah, I mean, if I were to look back on it, if I had God in my life at those times, maybe my life would have been in an
Mhm.
even crazier place now. I don't
Mhm.
know. But, that wasn't for me, I guess. And
Yeah.
also, I heard somebody say this before, but like, or I saw this somewhere, but the idea of like Christianity being your own, like,
Mhm.
we grow up with cultural Christianity. I grew up in the
Mhm.
church and
Mhm.
whatever. And as a kid, though, you don't have the kind of like intellectual and emotional maturity to like
Mhm.
a lot of times fully like
Yeah.
understand the
Right, right,
gospel,
right.
right? And I mean, who fully understands the gospel,
For
to be
sure. I
honest?
know what
But
you mean.
but um I think that, I kind of like became more agnostic around 15 as I started focusing on other things, and then, didn't find my way back until, 30, low key.
Yeah.
Um but I think that part of that, though, like having the long way around, I think did allow me to approach Christianity in a way that a lot of Christians haven't.
Mhm.
Meaning, like, I was never like anti-Christian ideals. I just spent a lot of time not thinking about spirituality or anything
Mhm.
at all. And then when I went back to reapproach those conversations when I had found a certain level of success and realized that like the pursuit of success was like I achieved a certain level of goal that I had set for myself. And so I was like, well, okay, what do I do now? And I started to realize that that's not the spiritual stuff. So,
Mhm.
so I started focusing on those questions. Well, I didn't want to just jump into culturally what,
Mhm.
what I'm saying, what
I
I've
do.
been used to just fall back into a comfortable place. I wanted to like seek the truth.
Yeah.
And I think that allowed me to, psychedelics took me to a place, and um, uh, studying philosophy took me to a place, and analytical idealism with Bernardo Kastrup, and then conversations with my Christian friends, and life, just a whole slew of life experiences
Yeah.
and things like that that kind of culminated in this you know initial kind of like jump in the past year with God. And I think that those things give a dimensionality to my Christianity that is unique to me,
Mhm.
and that I wouldn't have otherwise had. So I would say that maybe that is the big plus,
Mhm.
um, for me out of those situations. But I mean, I don't know. I would like to jump on the cliche of like I wouldn't change anything because I wouldn't be the person I am. I mean, who knows, man?
Yeah.
I could have been way better.
See, and
You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like if I
that
wouldn't
is
have
what's
done all that
hard.
and I would have had
Yeah,
God,
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
I might have
And that
been
is what's hard.
killing it right now.
That is that dude, that is the hardest thing. I, I'll say this is how I've arrived at that place for me, I think. I wouldn't be sitting in this chair today doing what I'm doing
Yeah.
if I didn't experience the hurt that I experienced.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Like, truthfully, I would still be in the position of trying to start a church and
Mhm.
chase that and appease everybody else to get what I thought I wanted.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
And I wouldn't, like, the opportunities I've gotten to sit down with people like you who and have conversations about what has formed them, what has shaped them, how they've become who they are, building
Mhm.
this podcast. I wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
And like I also wouldn't have the perspective to I remember it's like 6 months, 8 months after I'd left the job I was at, I was sitting down talking to somebody about religion and the church, and they were sharing some of their frustrations and like talking about um, what the issues they took with why they struggled with the whole concept of American Christianity and American religion and
Mhm.
the church as an entity. And because of what I'd gone through, I was able to understand and relate and empathize with it.
Mhm.
Whereas at a different season of my life, I would just be like, "No, you're wrong. That's not how it is." Like I would have excused it,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
so like I would not
Yeah.
trade that.
Yeah, yeah. I no, I love that.
You know what I
Also
mean?
also I do wanna clarify something. I don't have an issue with the Christianity that I grew up with.
Oh,
It's
for sure.
I'm more critiquing the idea of an unexamined faith.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh,
Like,
well,
I'm
because
you know what I
that
mean?
the worlds that we like, what type of church did you grow up in?
Methodist.
Okay. So, like, I grew up in an independent Baptist world,
Mhm.
and a lot of and, like, I mean, I'm familiar with, like, the Methodist world a little bit. I never was super involved with it. But like, Christianity, religion, and that the era we grew up in, or late 90s, early 2000s,
Mhm.
was unexplained,
Mhm.
if that makes sense. It was you take it and you believe it because it's what I say.
Mhm.
There was no explanation. Like, think about, like, we grew up in the true love waits era of, like, don't have sex before you're married. Why? Because the Bible says so.
Yeah.
You know, and not
Yeah.
to get into a dissertation of, like, either one of our stances on that
Yeah, yeah,
now,
yeah.
but,
Yeah.
like, that was the type of Christianity and faith we grew up in, was the why well, why should I believe that? Because the Bible says so.
Yeah.
Well, that's your
Yeah.
dissertation, that's your defense of what
Yeah.
the Bible
Yeah. Yeah.
says,
Yeah.
you know?
Well,
I
I mean, look, dude, the reality is, man, a lot of people don't um wrestle with questions as deeply as they should.
Yeah.
Um and so, you kind of just have to think that just across the board, like some people, yeah, like I mean,
Mhm.
there's so many people with contradictions all over the place. I mean, I'm constantly trying to navigate my own contradictions.
Yeah,
You
dude.
know what I mean?
When I think that's the
Yeah.
cycle of humanity, is that at times, we are all a living contradiction. Because, like, we say we do what we don't say, or do the opposite of what you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and
Yeah. Yeah.
it's like, I say that I believe XYZ, but my lifestyle, what I do exemplifies
Yep.
that I believe
Yep.
ABC.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that is the nature of the human condition,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. I think this is like a bit of a side tangent, but this is
That's
on
alright.
topic.
I'm cool with it.
And it's like the Christianity that I grew up with. I think why I became a little more detached. Um, Obviously, I was pulled in different directions for like music and things. I
Mhm.
was just in
Yeah,
high
because you
school.
started your music career at 15, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Give or take?
yeah,
So,
yeah.
like, you go finish what you're saying, then
No,
I'll say.
yeah, you're good. Yeah. So, um, I feel like there's a lot of like religious language. This is
Yeah.
interesting because I think you kind of come full circle to this. So you have this religious language, um, that I think if you're on the fence, I think a lot of time, or at least for me, it's kind of hard to like get to set in the spirit.
Mhm.
And what I feel like I would have needed in my in my teenage years or something is the deeper Christian theology and the
Mhm.
philosophy
Mhm.
of
Yeah.
you know,
I know what you mean.
morality, like all
Right.
kinds of different things, right? So I think that's the stuff that would have really spoken to me in those moments. But it's
Mhm.
funny because like when you circle all the philosophical stuff, you kind of come back to the understanding of those basic religious like phrases
Mhm.
where then it makes sense how my grandma, who is a very devout Christian,
Mhm.
how she doesn't have to have all of the philosophical stuff but is able to go to church, hear something that seems more surface level to somebody who likes to be very philosophical,
Mhm.
but then it actually hits every part of her spirit in that way.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like
I
this
know what you
the
mean.
stuff that
I
you
know what you mean.
otherwise thought were simple. It's only because you don't actually understand it
Mm.
like a deeper level of knowing. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? That's
Yeah.
why it doesn't hit you
Yeah, yeah,
as
yeah, yeah.
much. You know?
I do know what you mean.
Yeah.
And I think that is, like, on, the faith topic, and in that, in, like, belief system, is, like, every person's, walk in view of God is unique to them.
Hmm.
And I think we struggle as I think that's the struggle of most Christians, is we don't allow people to have that individuality and uniqueness, where we want everything to look and be the same, of, like, you got to think, and I was talking to my parents about this yesterday. It's like, we were talking about a situation, and why one thing is okay and one thing is not. I said, because theirs is more palatable than theirs. Like, theirs is more normal than this. And so, and that is where I struggle with Christianity as a whole at, this stage of my life. And like I guarantee you I have family and friends that would tell you that I've walked away from God. I haven't. I just have a different perspective on life because of what I've gone through. But one thing I struggle with in this topic is that as long as what you are going through is palatable to me, then I can excuse it because you're just going to get past it. But the second what you're walking through is not palatable to my worldview
Mhm.
or my sub worldview or my conscience, then I'm gonna raise issue with it and tell you how wrong you are.
Mhm.
I can't get behind that.
Yeah.
Like that is one of those things. Is like I'm like, dude, either it there's a whole conversation we get into
100%. Yeah.
within that,
Yeah.
But like let's go back for a second though
Let's do it.
to you talk about you grew up in church.
Mhm.
Um, were your parents married your whole childhood?
No.
Okay.
No.
Who'd you grow up with?
Well, my parents were they got divorced when I was 15.
Okay, so
So they were together,
okay,
but they fought a lot.
okay. How did that impact your life going from, growing up with your parents, starting a hip hop career early, and this was like what, 2009, 2010, probably when your hip hop journey
Yeah.
started. So
Yeah, yeah.
like the voices in hip hop at the time, like who were you listening to then?
Oh, like when I first started making music?
Yeah, like who,
Yeah,
you probably were not listening
Lil
to
Wayne,
Lecrae.
Yellow
Yeah.
Wolf, and Tech Nine.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Those are my big
you
3.
weren't
Yeah.
listening to Lecrae, you weren't listening to KB.
No,
I don't
oh,
think was
well,
out
funny
then.
enough though, before that, before I started being an artist, when I was in church more heavily, like around 12 years old and stuff, yeah, KJ52,
Yeah,
Grits,
yeah, dude. Hey,
Toby
Grits.
Mac, like,
Ooh,
uh,
ooh, still a
yeah,
jam.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's people who don't know anything about ooh until they watch which it's in one of the Fast and Furious movies.
Oh, really?
I don't remember which one.
Yeah. Pedity,
Hmm.
yeah, all kinds of, I don't know, Christian hip hop artists. But yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah,
eventually I, started getting
yeah.
into other spaces. But
What's
yeah.
your favorite Lil Wayne record of all time?
Oh my gosh. Oh, that's tough, bro. That's really tough.
Okay, give me top 3 then, because
Well,
there's a bunch. Like
yeah, yeah.
there's a
It's
bunch.
more like I more appreciated him for the verses.
Hmm.
Um,
He's a freak of nature, dude. He's
yeah, there
so
was a time
talented.
I'd never seen any other time in hip hop history where this was done, where when he went on this kind of like legendary feature run where it seemed like he was featuring on everybody's song, and I'm
Hmm.
sure these labels were, because he was causing things to catch fire. Like if Wayne hopped on it, everybody wanted to hear the Wayne verse, so they're listening to the song.
Yeah.
And because of that, I think he was probably
Was
getting
that
a,
was
he
that
was probably
late
getting
two?
100K for a
Was that
feature.
late 2000s? Was that when that
I mean, that
happened?
yeah, no, 2009,
Yeah,
2010,
because I
like
was thinking like what songs he
that
was on.
era.
He was on Look at Me Now. He was on Forever.
But I'm talking even just like smaller artists. Like, so this is
Oh,
like
oh, okay, yeah, yeah,
mixtape
yeah, yeah, yeah,
era.
yeah.
This is
Okay,
like,
I'm with you. I'm with
yeah,
you.
yeah, I mean, he was like, labels were like, okay, like this dude is so fired that it's
Yeah,
like we just throw him on a feature. If we can just get that, this song is going to get some initial traction. And but
that's
usually he just
crazy.
completely overshadowed the artist.
Yeah.
And man, I don't know. I feel like Dying had a
Mm.
beautiful, I don't know, record that like
Mhm.
it sounded crazy to me.
Mhm.
Um, I mean, that is so hard. That's such a hard question. There's
Yeah.
a record with his verses with Young Jock, a
Mhm.
record that he has with Young Jock that's kind of crazy. Um, I
Y
mean, a Millie 6 foot, 7 foot are crazy. Like,
Dude, you know what I
yeah.
think is his most not most underrated, but is a drastically underrated entire album of his just because the time it came out was the Carter 4.
Oh yeah.
I think it's underrated.
Uh-oh.
I just
Okay.
think like I just because it I mean, you remember at the time like he was in prison, so the Carter 4 got delayed.
Uh huh.
And so everybody's like waiting on it, and then it comes out and I was like, and I'm like, but now granted, that was also when I was at like my peak era of like listening to
Mhm.
rap and hip hop. And so I was a junior in high school probably.
Mhm.
I still dude, that whole record, still to this day, I'm like, nah, dude, it's like it's fire.
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's but
Yeah.
like then you go back though and you listen to some of his early stuff like the Carter 1, the Carter 2 that had a Millie,
But
Go
dude, just
DJ
no
on it.
ceilings though.
I was about to say No
No
Ceilings
ceilings is
mixtape.
just ridiculous,
Bro,
bro.
I literally was just listening to No Ceilings on my way to
And
the gym.
I would rap half that album right now, word for word, if it was
Yeah.
something I would stand
Yeah,
behind.
yeah, yeah, right,
You know what
dude,
I'm saying?
dude,
You couldn't
hey.
air any of this episode.
No. I mean,
But
dude,
but yeah, man.
the dude Shoes, though? Shoes is one of the
Oh, yeah, yeah.
that
Yeah, yeah.
song,
What was Wash My Shoes?
um,
How's that start, Aaron?
um, hold
Oh,
on.
play it, bro.
I am. I literally have it right here. I can as soon as I, like, play it, I'm gonna go, "Oh, yeah, that's how it starts." What?
Where that?
Let's see. No
Ceilings,
ceilings, my
good
Yeah,
morning. In your
yeah.
mouth while you
Ex
yawning, I'm
see,
gone
exactly.
gutter why they started me.
Why
Why
they
they started
started
me.
me? I bring it
Me
to
to
your
your
front
front door
door
like
like
you
you
order
order
me.
me.
Back in this, but a lot more rich. I'm a papa bitch.
Yeah.
Need hot pour rich. Got a lot more than you can never fathom.
Go off.
Couldn't even imagine that I do most do is never done.
You're
I'ma
editing
run this
yourself
beat.
really, really well.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
I mean, bro,
really well at this
bro,
point in time.
I'm telling you, Nate Rose in high school, bro. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying? Getting up to the antics, bro. Just I was kind of a wild boy,
dude,
bro.
hey, you remember you know what other album came out when we were in high school? What year did you graduate high school? 12 or 13?
2013.
Okay, so you were a year behind me. You know what came out my senior year? Was
What?
Take Care.
Oh yeah. You know what? Take Care actually didn't hit me in the way that it did for a lot of other people.
Mhm.
Nothing Was the Same did that for me, but I think
Yeah,
I
yeah,
just
yeah, yeah,
wasn't
yeah.
at the time. I was into like technical rap.
Yes.
So
Yes, I know
so
what you mean, and,
Drake
like,
and Take Care was not technical rap.
no, it
So I
was
was
not.
not like
It was
yeah.
far more like hip hop than rap, if that makes
Mm-hmm.
sense. But it's like, you know what else was at that time? This is our ADHD's kicked in now, but because I think 2011 to 2012 is one of the best eras of hip hop rap that exists because of the amount of artists that are still big to this day that came out. Like that was when J. Cole came out. That was
Oh
a
yeah, yeah.
sideline story was that time.
Yeah.
Um, Big Sean
Yep.
came out then.
Yep.
Tyga came out then.
Mm-hmm.
Because what was that album that had Faded
Yeah.
on
Yeah, I
it?
remember that. Yeah.
Dude,
Tyga.
that was like end of my that was like
Tyga, bro,
2012.
Tyga's a weird one because sometimes Tyga goes crazy.
Yep.
And sometimes you're like, that
Yep.
was not it, gang.
Yep. Right. Right.
It's
But,
so weird.
dude, Wale's first album
Yeah.
was then,
Yeah, yeah.
which
yeah, yeah.
was Ambition. That album, like, but then you go back a little bit and was it Kid Cudi?
Kid Cudi.
Cudi?
Yeah.
I've never said his name right. He was a little bit like Pursuit of Happiness. That was a couple years before. Like that was a Wiz Khalifa.
Mm-hmm.
Was dude like you look back at that time of hip hop and rap and you're
Yeah.
like, yeah, no, this was
Yeah, no, that
this
was that was a good time. For
there
sure.
was dude, there
It was
was
good time
some
for sure.
there's others that I'm forgetting.
Also, bro, early 2000s, late 90s,
Right.
early 2000s was
Right.
crazy. And I wasn't like aware for that time period,
Correct.
but looking back on it, you're like, my goodness, bro.
See, that's the
Like,
other time where you
50
look you go
Cent
to. Yep.
and Eminem and Jay-Z and the
Oh
whole,
my
you know,
gosh.
like, I mean, tons of artists in that time period, but
Yeah,
like,
dude.
just bro, the fact that we have forgotten how many smashes 50 Cent has is crazy.
Dude, his If I Can't, that's all of that
So
time.
good.
It's just like, and like, well, I want to ask you this, but I want to go back to what we were talking about because we got on a tangent. But like, we're talking now about like all mainstream, non-Christian hip hop artists.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
How for you are you able to appreciate? Because I've always wondered this when it comes to Christian hip hop artists. How are you able to appreciate the artistry and the music they make and the records they put out,
Mm-hmm.
while also understanding that the message and what they're talking about is nothing you align with anymore?
Well, this is an ever evolving disposition
Mhm.
because before, you know, you asked me that a couple years ago, I'd have been like, bro, like it's not that serious. Like
Mhm.
there's good music and yeah, I'm not really rocking with what they're saying, but it sounds fire and it's
Yeah.
you know, it serves a particular purpose and whatever.
Yeah.
I think now I can appreciate the sonics and the
Mhm.
approach, but there's a lot of music I just don't listen to anymore.
Yeah.
Like I'll listen to it once for just kind of see where we're at sonically.
Yeah.
But if I don't feel like it's enlivening to my spirit,
Mhm.
on one hand I feel like I don't want to support the music with my streams and my
Sure.
attention.
Sure.
On another hand, like I'm trying to keep my eyes on God, and so like consuming music that is not of
Mhm.
like
I get that,
the
dude.
spirit of God
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I get that.
doesn't it's contradictory to a bigger mission. So I
Mhm.
like to appreciate art, but it's like, yo, you're talking about crazy things on here, so
Mhm.
Imma hit it one time.
Mhm.
That way I can be like, all right, cool. Yeah, I know what the flavor of this project is, and there were some cool moments,
Mhm.
and maybe that can like, pull some inspiration for
Mhm.
some things that I'm working on or something like that. But I'm not revisiting it. Um, yeah. And unfortunately, man, like so much of rap is like in direct contradiction
Mhm.
to uh yeah, to the
Yeah, no,
kind
I
of the
understand
message
that.
of the gospel.
Yeah, 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 I understand
However,
that.
that is also what simultaneously empowers me so much when I feel like I
Yeah.
got like there's this image, I don't know if you're down to edit, but I'll send you the image and you can
Mhm.
throw it up on screen, but, like,
Mhm.
whenever I'm creating music, this is how I feel. It's like it's a knight. It's an AI image, but
Mhm.
it's a like a knight with wings, and it just looks like it's so fire looking to me, and it's like, yeah, bro, like, I feel almost an obligation or a duty to serve God by making music that is so excellent
Yeah.
that I will pull people from secular into
Yeah.
Christian hip hop,
Yeah.
and they have no choice because it's that good.
Yeah.
They have no choice but to just come over here because I'm cooking all the rappers. Like,
Yeah.
that's what I want. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not
I know
saying
what
I
you
am doing
No, no,
that,
I know what you mean,
but
though.
like, I'm like, "Oh, I have an obligation to just
Mhm.
body them all."
Mhm.
You know what I'm
I
saying?
do.
For the kingdom.
Yeah, I
And
do, I
so,
do.
yeah, that's so, yeah, I'll survey the landscape, see what we're
It's
doing, and then I'll
Dude,
come
it's
and smack
tough.
you around.
No, dude, it's and that's I remember being in, like, different stages of my life, when I was in ministry and stuff, like, I mean, I was in the same boat of, like there were times where it's like, I didn't listen to hardly any hip hop, especially mainstream, from 2013 to 2016, 2017, probably.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, maybe there was a time where I started listening to it more because, like but, I also could tell, it's like, sometimes there are seasons in your life where you're like, "Yeah, this doesn't serve me."
Mhm.
And I don't mean that from, like, an arrogant, like, high horse perspective. It's like, you just like, no matter what your belief system is, you can hit a point like, everybody hits a point in time where there's something you may do or think or engage in that you go, "Yeah, this doesn't serve my life for me for the betterment of me as a human being."
100%.
And so it's like, now that's why, like, now, like, I listen to hip hop stuff, my son loves it. So it's like, I'll throw on edited Lil Wayne sometimes, and dude, 6 foot, 7 foot, still, his favorite song. I'm like, "Yeah, it's dope, like, it's
Yeah.
cool."
Yeah.
But at the same point in time, you do get that sense of where you're like, yeah, like, is this best for me to ingest?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, yeah.
it's such a catch-22 because, like, you don't want to be the teetotaler, like sitting on your high horse, but at the same point in time, you're like, yeah, if it's not good for me, it's not good for me.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if that's
Does that make sense at
no,
all?
it does, it does. I don't feel like,
I don't get that sense from you.
no,
I
no, no,
want to
I know that.
clarify
No,
that.
I
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't feel
Okay.
that way at all. I just, like first off, you can listen to whatever you wanna listen to,
For sure.
and I don't feel like I, take a high horse position on it, like, you
Mm-hmm.
shouldn't listen to I guess you shouldn't listen to that, like, you like how
Yeah.
they're talking about women in that record? I don't know,
And
bro.
that's
You
what's
like how they're
so hard
glorifying
within
drug
that.
use, bro?
Yeah.
I got a lot of homies who have OD'd.
Yeah.
That shit is not cool, gang.
Mm-hmm.
You know what
Dude,
I'm
that's
saying?
what's hard, man.
Yo,
But
yo,
then,
yo, you know what I'm saying? We waving the banners, you know what I'm saying? "Oh, man,
yeah,
RIP Mac Miller,
yeah,
RIP Lil Peep." You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? And then we're like, "Yeah, bro, I love that song about popping a perky." Crazy, right? "Oh,
yeah,
RIP
yeah,
Pop Smoke, man, RIP Nipsey Hussle, bro." Like,
yeah,
man, why we keep doing this? You love the Nardo Wick record, you know what I'm saying? You love the records where it's like straight murder music, shout out D1. Like,
yeah.
you know what I
It's
mean?
such it's such a
It's a
dichotomy,
how do you
bro.
live with that dissonance, bro?
Yep.
Like, don't be sad about it, bro. Like, you know what I mean?
I
Or, like,
Yep.
actually do be sad about it and correct the other way, but,
Yeah, no, I understand,
yeah.
dude. I think you're dead on, and that is what I do find to be one of the hardest pieces of that puzzle is the celebration. I remember hearing somebody years ago. Should I say this? No, I'm not gonna say
Okay.
that. I'll
I
say it off air.
okay, I say, I think the hard part is that people like to feel cool. Rap music
Hmm.
makes people feel cool.
It does.
It it it
It does.
it illuminates our ego in a
Yeah.
way that, like, really makes us feel unstoppable in a lot of ways, and
Oh yeah, yeah,
that's a
yeah, yeah,
huge appeal of it.
yeah.
Um, but being cool and being righteous are not always the same thing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't think they have to be at odds, and
Mm-hmm.
I think, but I think culture is what kind of moves what is
Yeah.
cool,
Yep.
And so we have to make righteous cool again. There's been periods of history where being
Yeah.
righteous was like the dopest thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I do.
That's kind of like philosophy right there. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like,
Mhm.
um, and even in those eras, there's issues. I'm not saying they were issueless. I'm just
Mhm.
saying like there was more of a like we're a very very secular culture with an individualistic
Mhm.
perspective, and especially right now, the past 10 years, we've moved so far in the direction um, of just indulging immediate desires
Yeah.
and self interest. You know,
Yep.
love yourself and don't let any of society's parameters, you know what I'm
Mhm.
saying, affect you. And the result of that is way increased anxiety and depression and a total like
Oh, for
disorientation of
sure.
identity. And it's like, yeah, I don't know, man. I feel like the past couple thousands of years of human thought, we figured some things out.
Mhm.
You know what I'm
That
saying?
I find that so interesting. Like within the philosophical conversation of like how we so advanced, but also so regressed in certain things.
Well, I
You
mean,
know what I mean?
yeah, okay. So when you're experiencing, I think we're too prosperous.
Yeah.
I think
Sure.
when if you're losing your kids to the winter because you know what I'm saying,
Right.
or some kind of disease, and this is happening like on a regular basis, or 50% of
Right.
uh childbirth ends in the death of one or both of the parties.
Mhm.
It's like, okay, well, we really need something to deal with this suffering. And I don't
Mhm.
mean something like a created something, like a
Mhm.
just like all right, like it's not a cope. I don't
Yeah.
want people to read into that Christianity is a just like a cope for suffering. It's not that. But I think we have become so prosperous that we aren't presented uh on a regular basis with the difficulties and suffering that all of human history has
Right.
had to wrestle with.
Right.
And because of that, we don't feel as much of a need to like we can distract ourselves, you know what I'm saying?
I do.
Like I can go, bro, the idea that I can go if I'm hungry is like, bro, like what do I want on the menu?
Right.
What
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
country's food
There's
do I
no
want to partake in
there's
right
no
now?
thought of like having to go kill your food.
Matter of fact, bro, matter of fact, Aaron, do you mind just like opening up your device and just like summon the food here? You know what I'm saying?
What a way
You
to
you you
what
might
a
you might
way to proposition that.
you might putting that in and it just appears here, but I don't even feel like going and getting it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I know.
Um, and yeah, dude, and you get in that space, and then cool, like you are not feeling you're dumbing down your conscience, and you're
Mhm.
not feeling the pull towards things that invite wisdom until a family member dies, your parent dies, your
Yeah.
spouse dies, and now you're floored. You
Mhm.
have no foundation because
Mhm.
suffering will come. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
It
We've
does.
alleviated ourselves from a bunch of suffering, but
Yeah.
death is still a reality. Heartbreak is still a reality. Addiction is still a
100%.
reality. And when you're faced with those things, the only place to go to is to the deeper questions, man.
Mhm.
Wrestling with this God-sized hole
Mhm.
in our heart that we try to fill with other things.
Mhm.
That there's nothing else
Well,
to do, bro.
so I wanna go back for a
Yeah,
minute. I started to ask a second ago, then I distracted myself when
that's
talking
okay.
about hip hop artists. So your parents got divorced at 15,
Mhm.
which is around, and like you grew up in a contentious maybe environment, seeing them fight at odds with each other, dealing with that, and then you see them get divorced,
Mhm.
when you're starting your artist journey into hip hop, rap, all of that. You have the external influences of mainstream hip hop artists. What what impacted that perfect storm of events have on you walking away from religion, the ideals, those guiding your life that you ended up going through? Did it on any level, or like when you reflect on it, can you see those
When I
impacting
reflect
it?
on it, I actually don't I think I was kind of unique in this way that I was always ambitious,
Hmm.
and so in the midst of all the craziness, I think I was always just like, this is just the reality, but I have these things I want to do, and that's
Mhm.
what took up so much of my mental space.
Mhm.
So in some ways, I just wasn't. I feel like I wasn't as affected by it. I'm sure maybe as time goes on, I'll see ways in which I really was
Yeah, maybe
affected
more
by it.
subconsciously than overtly obvious.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
but it's like if everything but at the same time, if things are mostly noise,
Mhm.
in middle school, I wanted to be a pro skateboarder. That was my sole focus. I
God, that's
skateboarded
so
all
sick.
day. I started a skate team. I would build ramps and set up like demos and
Damn.
try to get the neighborhood to come out. We were making t-shirts. I'm talking 6th grade, 7th grade. You know what I'm
No
saying?
way, dude.
So it's like I like that's always kind of how I've always been. And so because of that, I think that kind of
Yeah.
drive and stuff kind of shielded me maybe from
Okay.
from the effects of certain things. Like it didn't slow me down. But I think that ultimately is the reason why I just stopped becoming interested in the
Yeah, you
you
got
know
so
in
consumed with the
yeah, I
drive in a
was just
sense,
yeah,
yeah,
and
and
it's
trying
not
to build something.
it's not like I was
Yeah.
just like, "Yo, I wanna be immoral." Like, it wasn't like that. It was
No,
just
for
kinda
sure.
like, "Yo, yeah, alright, yeah, Jesus loves me. Um,
Dope.
that's cool." And then but I'm like, "But music? Fire." Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm over here
What was
making
your
beats, like
what
yeah,
was your, um, introduction to like, you grew up in Cleveland, Tennessee,
yeah.
which, like, for those not aware of Cleveland, Tennessee, like,
Hey, bro, you
it's
don't know
not
what you're
a
missing.
yeah, well, I
Bro
mean,
bro, you don't know what you're missing, bro.
Cleveland's
The
kinda
food,
dope.
the entertainment.
Lee University.
Bro, Lee University, bro, you can go and have you ever heard of Creed? Yeah, the lead singer went there, bro. If you don't know
Did
about
he
Cleveland,
really?
Tennessee, bro, put some respect on our name, gang. That's my streets, cuz. I'm about to go full Crip Mac in here, bro. But I'm not a Crip, but I'm about to go full Crip Mac. Y'all about to make me do something crazy, bro. If you don't put some respect on Cleveland, Tennessee's name, bro, show up and go to Bond Life. Show up and walk the Greenway, bro. We got a giant yellow chair. Show up to Cleveland, Tennessee, bro, and go to the Taco Bell next to McDonald's on 25th. You ain't
This
never
is
been to a place like this, bro.
we just got so specific about Cleveland, Tennessee. I love it so much.
Clip it. All right, yeah.
No,
Anyway,
but
sorry, yeah, Cleveland,
no,
Tennessee.
dog, you're good. I didn't know that the lead singer of Creed went to
Yeah,
Lee.
Scott.
I did not know Scott went there.
He did. He got kicked out for being drunk, I think.
Dude,
But I love Creed.
Lee's strict, dog.
Yeah, man.
Lee is a strict school. Anyways, I went there and saw the Crab Family one time. You know, the
Mr. Krabs?
the Krabby Patty.
Yeah. No, who?
Have you ever heard of the Crab Family?
No, like
Dog,
CRABB?
CRABB. Yeah,
Yeah,
they
yeah,
were a
yeah.
big Southern gospel group.
Yeah, okay. Yeah,
They're
yeah.
still like around.
Oh,
Here.
actually, I saw them at J Fest. Yeah, we filmed J Fest, and
Yeah,
they're in a yeah, okay,
yeah. Jason,
yeah,
Jason Crab.
yeah,
Dude,
yeah,
they're
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
they're still kind of dope.
Yeah.
Like Pentecostal Southern gospel.
Let's
Like,
go, bro.
yeah. Anyways, that's what I grew up on. I digress though. So, how though did you get into hip hop, rap, that genre of music? Growing up in like Cleveland's not a mecca of music in that
Bro,
world.
so many hip hop artists come out of Cleveland, Tennessee, bro.
Are you being for real? Or are you being sarcastic? Yeah, that's what I thought.
No,
Like what was it? But like what led you to that? Because like
I,
you
I
wanted to be Tony Hawk when you're in middle school, which
yeah,
honestly respect.
day one song.
Yep.
Uh, yeah, look, music just captivated me. I don't
Okay.
know what it was.
What
I was
made
in a variety of different bands,
what
but
made you realize you were good at it though?
I wasn't good at it. You know what I'm
It
saying?
just you
I
just were
liked
like
it.
you liked
I
it
liked it, and then
taught
I
yourself.
became good.
Okay, I
You
get
know what I'm
that.
saying?
Yeah,
I
I
just
do.
enjoyed it, man. I don't know. Like I started dabbling with making music. I was in a metal
Mhm.
band, a couple different failed metal bands, and I was just trying different genres of music, and then
Mhm.
I made a rap song once, and it synced to my iPod, and so like I was listening on the bus, and my song came on after a Wayne song, and it was like my song on the iPod, which
Mhm.
obviously now with today's technology, you're like that's not
I
like
know what
that's
you
not
mean.
unique at all. But at the
Yeah,
time,
at the time.
iPods were new, and I'm like, yo, I'm just on this thing right next to Wayne,
Yep.
like you know what I mean? And
Dude,
that was cool.
I wish we could bring back iPods. I wish they would become a thing again.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh, like
But
OG iPods.
yeah, I
Sorry.
love the OG iPods. But yeah, dude, I think at some point shortly after that, I'm like, yo, I really enjoy doing this. It got to a point where I was like, as soon as I get out of school,
Mhm.
I'm gonna do my sport, and then I'm gonna come home, and I'm just gonna make music till I go to sleep.
Mhm.
And then basically after yeah, after probably about a year of making music, I was like, "Yeah, Imma do this. Imma do this." So I started going that became the new,
Yeah,
um
that's the drive.
yeah,
Yeah.
the new ambition, and, but, to speak specifically to, like, Christian hip hop,
Mhm.
or sorry, not Christian hip hop, just hip hop in general
Mhm.
in Cleveland, Tennessee, um, you know, man, we're internet kids, like,
Mhm.
the internet kind of expands your scope of what you can do. So
100%.
I found community in just, like, the online space. I mean,
Yeah.
like, I look, the reality is in Cleveland, there was almost no one who wanted to do what I was doing,
Mhm.
and that did make me feel isolated in some ways, but it
I was gonna
also
ask you that.
yeah, yeah. It did also, like, push me, though, to learn all these skills that
Mhm.
ultimately led to me, like, you know, owning a video business because, like, I know how to edit videos and I know how
Yeah.
to do graphic design. You know, I didn't have the resources, to do those things, so it forced my hand because I wanted good stuff
Yep.
to, like, develop those skills, and so, I don't know, I think it all worked out in the end, but yeah, man, I just had a love for the music. I just, like hip hop just, like, hit me, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And when I started making it, like, yeah, it wasn't good, but you just get better and then you can
But it goes
eventually
back though
yeah.
to like what we were talking about earlier, that conversation of the when you put stuff out early on,
Mhm.
it's like I look back at like my first 10, like dude, we're 34, 30, 34. I think this is episode 34 of the pod. I go back and look at the first like 5, 6, 7, 8, and I'm like, God, I sucked at this. I sucked at interviewing. I sucked at shutting up and listening. Like
Yeah,
all
yeah,
of
yeah.
the like all those nuance of things. But the reality is like you have to suck. You have to pause.
Yeah, I was about to say clip that one too. Clip that one
You
too.
know what I mean? Like you have to be, let me rephrase that statement. You got to be willing to be bad at something from the jump
Yeah.
and be okay with and appreciate the growth.
Oh, 100%.
You know, like you think back to like you starting out in hip hop and maybe not being great at what you're doing, but also the fact that you had to teach yourself how to edit video, how
Yeah.
to create graphics, how to do all of those things.
Yeah, also, to be fair, probably at the time, I thought I was awesome. So
But that again, that's what we were talking about though, is like,
yeah,
I think you
yeah.
have to when you put something out there for the first time, you have to think you're great at it, because otherwise you may never do it.
Yeah.
Now you're
Yeah,
gonna
yeah.
look back and you go, and this comes, kind of full circle with some of the conversation we've been having, like, you're gonna look back and you go, "Wow, that wasn't actually as great as I thought it was, but
Yep.
I'm grateful I did it."
Yeah, yeah. Facts.
You know? What
Yep.
so how long have you and your wife been married?
Since 2023, but
Okay,
we lived together. We actually bought a house together before we were married.
okay.
Um, so we've been together, like 8 years now, but we've
Dang,
been married for like 3.
okay.
So,
How'd y'all
living
meet?
together for like 8. We met at a John Bellion concert.
No way.
Yeah, so I was selling CDs in line, and she was
In
VIP
Nashville?
in Nashville, Exit
No
In
way, dude.
2016,
Dang,
Human
bro.
Condition tour, and so she had driven 7 hours to see John Bellion and got a VIP ticket at Exit In, no less. You
No
know, 5,
way, dude.
600 cap room,
Yeah, dude.
and which I
Accident's
saw
dope.
him at Exit In the year before, like,
Dude,
solo.
accident's dope.
But yeah, dude, yeah, met her there, and then we went to Cookout afterwards. It was
Hey,
me and her
put some
friend group.
respect on Cookout.
Yeah, straight up, got me through college.
Same.
Uh,
My 1 year of
yeah,
college, it got me through it.
yeah, um,
Let me rephrase, my 1 semester on campus in college, it got me through it.
let's go. Um, but yeah, man, we went there, and then, like, I thought we all exchanged Snapchats, and then I thought she was funny on Snapchat, and I was like, "Yo, we should FaceTime," like, you know, and,
Yeah.
she was like I was like, "Are you free this Sunday?" And she was like, "Oh, no, I'm not free this Sunday." And I was like, "When are you free?" And,
Mhm,
you know, she was trying to be like I know this now because she's told me, but she
mhm.
was trying to be like, oh, not available." But then you know what I'm saying? The
Yep.
persistence, bro, the drive, bro. Just hit her with the
100%.
when are you free? Made her put something on the calendar, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And then our first call was 7 hours on FaceTime. So
No way, dude.
yeah.
Where was she living at the time?
Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Yeah.
Dang. And you were living in
I was at
Nashville?
Murfreesboro.
You were
Yeah.
oh, yeah,
I was
yeah,
at
yeah, yeah, yeah.
MTSU and she
Okay.
was at University of Southern Mississippi.
Dang.
Yeah.
And that was what, 20, you said
That was like 2016.
2016?
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah.
And now you've been married for 3
3
years?
years. Yeah.
Have 1 kid, 1 on the way.
Yep. Yep.
Have 2
That's
2
right.
kids.
Yep.
What
Shout out Andros and Aya on the way. Yeah.
Let's go. How much has marriage and parent and fatherhood impacted your I'm gonna ask this two ways.
Okay.
Impacted your worldview and impacted your career.
Oh, man. Tons of ways. Let me start with wife. Let's see.
Yeah.
How has it impacted my career? So my wife is brilliant,
Mhm.
and also she is like the checks and balances for a lot of things with me. I'm very idea
Yeah.
oriented. I'm very like I have many ideas and I want to do all these things, and she is more of like a execution.
Mhm.
And so, she kinda, like, reins me in a lot of times where it's like, "Yo, you gotta stick with this, and you gotta, like, see it
Mhm.
through and da da da."
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm very
I do.
shiny object syndrome
What
idea guy.
what was the
It's
first time she did that to you? Like, did it was it hard? The first time you're like in idea mode, you're throwing stuff out there, and she goes, the hold on, like brings you back to reality. Did it
uh,
was it difficult or like
it's
were you
hard it's
far
hard to
enough along?
it's not really, like, pinpointing a moment because 'cause I've always been like that.
Right.
Um,
I'm
it's
the
it's
same
just that
way.
we're wired a little differently, but
Yes.
there are things that she can illuminate to me that I I know are true, but that aren't as intuitive to me.
Mhm.
Um, but that's been really helpful, like, even recently, like, uh, the idea of being more focused on singular things rather than
Mhm.
trying to spread myself on all these things that don't
Right.
get the level of execution they need, and that being a hindrance to my success. But there's been that. There's also been the fact that she makes great money, and I don't feel the pressure to have to provide all of the money for the family.
Mhm.
Um, that's been great. She also never makes me feel guilty
Mhm.
for working hard.
Mhm.
Now I do have a good work-life balance because
Yeah.
that's very important to me, but,
Yeah.
like but, before mainly for my son, because before, my wife and I,
Yeah.
like, we would work, but then we would have, like, 3 hours in the day every day to hang out. She works from home, so, like,
Yeah.
I was like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna go lock into work, and you're not gonna see me until this time," and then we hang out,
Yeah.
and that worked perfectly for us, but,
Then you have a kid and it changes everything.
yeah, yeah, because it's like, okay, like,
Yeah.
he needs more than 3 hours of my attention a day.
Mhm.
And so, um, yeah, so I've structured my life around that.
Yeah,
So
I
those are
get that.
those are some ways with career, I would say. So, also just like, just motivation,
Yeah.
just kinda oh, and just like and this gets into more the things that kinda undergird everything, but like, the spiritual component, like,
Mhm.
she has really helped pull me out of, you know, troughs and been, um, I don't know, like, like she's my rock, you know what I'm
Mhm.
saying?
I
She's
do.
my partner. And so it's like that just makes everything easier. It's like
Yeah.
career lows, man, don't feel as bad now that my identity isn't in my career. You
Oh,
know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Like, yeah. Anyway, so that's career. You asked about. Sorry, I'm giving a long-winded
No,
answer, but I'm
dude,
trying
you're
to.
fine.
What was the other one? Career and
You're just like your world like, how like
oh,
because I think when you think, like what
worldview. Yeah.
people I don't know always realize when you get married
Hmm.
is it drastically impacts your life. Alt
If you
like
take it seriously.
yeah.
If you believe in marriage as marriage is meant to be understood.
Yeah, like, I've been
I think
having
a
this
lot of the
conversation
views of sorry, I didn't mean to
No,
cut
no,
you
no,
off.
you're good. I just was to say, like, I've had a lot of conversations with people recently where, like, marriage, I think, is too casually treated as a contract and not as a
100%.
covenant. And that is and I just it frustrates me to watch happen sometimes. And I don't mean that, like, negatively at humans. I just think, like, it's not a situation like, you know how many times my wife could have been like, "You're a dumbass, throw like, I'm done," and walked away? Like, a million.
Yeah.
But it on the flip side is, like, if you're unwilling to face the difficulties together and go, okay, we're both immature. We both have issues. Like, let's work through them together.
Yeah.
And like, we're gonna have conflict. You're gonna do things that piss me off. I'm gonna
Yep.
do, like,
Yep.
and vice versa.
Yeah.
And so, like, let's understand, like, but then, like, when you take all that though, and then you also throw in parenting and having kids,
Mhm.
dude, you're there. Like, you get
Yep.
it. It's like
Yeah, yeah.
when you're in the trenches of newborn life, marriage is hard as bro.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Definitely, uh, in our more secular culture, we kind of view, like, marriage as, like, a thing to do,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then
yeah, yeah.
we can just hang out.
And
Like
so
we can
that's
just
what
be
and so that's why it's like how it impacted your worldview
yeah.
because like
So my worldview is what so okay. We could take it from the ego dissolution perspective. So
Mhm,
I think that a major theme of Christianity is ego dissolution. I'm using sort of like a Eastern spiritual
mhm.
like verbiage here, but the idea is thinking of the selfless,
Yeah, right.
right? And so, um, what happens when you get into a marriage
Mhm,
is each this is Tim Keller's framing, which I love,
mhm.
but it's that what happens is after the puppy love stage
Yeah.
goes away, you start to see how selfish your partner is,
Dude, nothing
and
reveals
and
it.
you start going like,
Yeah,
yeah, I'm selfish, but you're more selfish.
yeah.
But it's not until you make this change for the
Mhm.
betterment of the union where you start to treat your own selfishness as greater than the selfishness of your
Yep,
partner.
yep.
And what that is meant to do is as you start to serve the other person, there's an ego dissolution process that happens. And it's the
Mhm.
person that you're the most intimate with that knows you the best, that can illuminate the parts of your spirit that you're not even aware of. And
Yeah.
there's this process that happens in marriage where you become a better citizen, a better person, you grow closer to God.
Mhm,
All of these things I think are fundamental for society.
mhm.
And you have this occurrence where two individual people who connect become greater than the sum of their parts through the course of this reciprocal improvement of each other's lives
Mhm,
in growth. If each person is willing to take up what marriage is meant to be,
mhm.
which is a covenant of and a bond of um, pouring into each other despite
Yeah, 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 yeah,
difficulty.
yeah.
And so how that has expanded is to realize that the tattered state of our institution of marriage
Yeah,
is a major reason we're seeing so much of this, you know
for
what I'm
sure.
saying,
Oh, I do.
chaos. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I think it's almost it's like, bro, if you just remain single, you are not challenged with your
Mhm.
ego's not challenged in an intimate way.
Dude, I'm
You know, like, bro, if you
yeah,
look,
I do.
if I'm being selfish to you, we're
Yeah,
friends, and if you challenge me on my selfishness, I can just dip,
yeah,
bro. I be like, "Yeah, I don't need this, bro. You don't know me. You don't know my life story. I'm out."
yeah.
Right? Like, you can avoid, like, I don't want anyone to change me and like, da, da, da.
Right.
It's like, "Yo, you suck.
Yeah,
You suck." You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Change yourself. Get
What
better.
and I think that's but I think even on that note though, is like I think that the way we treat friendship directly correlates to the way we treat marriage in our culture.
Mhm.
Of like we don't it's so easy and I've seen it so much of like people that don't have friendships that like with people that know them that can call them. Like friendship's just super with like tertiary in a
Mhm.
sense of like it's surface level. It's not like we're putting on. And I'm just like, if I am your friend and we are close, like for the love of God, I like quit putting on. I don't care. I don't need your best. Like I don't need your bet like your make up to best version of yourself. And like that's what marriage is the same way. So it's like we treat them both equally this similar of like, no, like as long as you're only at your best, then we're cool. And I'm like, no, like I like friendship, marriage is all about like vulnerability and all about like loving someone on their worst day.
Mhm.
And to your point of like the selfishness piece, nothing exposes how selfish you are as an individual like marriage and parenting, dude. If you
Oh,
think
yeah.
you're not
Oh,
if you
yeah.
think you're not selfish, have a kid
Yeah.
and have to wake up 4 times a night.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or like
Yeah.
then or have a spouse who's breastfeeding and they have to wake up 6 times a night and
Mhm.
you get to sleep some like
Yep.
learn how selfish you like
Yeah.
you think you're not?
Yep.
Dude,
People
it's
become, like, resentful of their kids because,
yeah,
sometimes,
there are some nights where in the last month with Harvey Paul where he's decided not to sleep where I'm like, bro, I'm gonna beat you. I love you. You're 9 months old. I'm like, dude, if you don't learn how to sleep more, because
Yeah.
there's like a week,
Yeah.
there was like, God, dude, like 2 or 3 weeks where like I was literally sleeping in his rocking chair in his room because that was the only way that he would sleep so his mom could sleep.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm just like, brother, I love you to death. I'm ready to go play in traffic.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
It
Yep.
sounds. I'm
Yep.
let me also clarify. Not beating my son. I'm
Yeah.
not
Yeah,
beating
yeah.
either of my children.
Yep.
Their life is Gucci.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's an idiom.
CPS.
It's an idiom, dog. I have to
Um,
clarify.
yeah, that
But
sounds exactly like someone who abuses their kids,
yeah,
bro. Like,
1,000. Yeah.
"Oh, no."
People listening to this, not watching, don't understand the sarcasm that we're
Yeah,
talking with
yeah.
right now. And
Yeah,
they're
just
just like,
read the
yeah, dog,
transcript.
next. Yeah,
I mean,
it's
I'm
like,
sure I've said some things that you just throw the transcript out there with no context, like,
Yeah,
"What is
no.
he talking about?" Yeah.
But no, dude, I find that so interesting. And it's like, again, with you, I can in our conversation and talking, it's like you're a very deep thinker and you're very philosophical. And I find it so interesting to like then have these conversations with you around how that how marriage and parenting has changed the way you view life or not or maybe not changed but has deepened that. Do you get that sense of yourself? Like are you aware of
If I'm a deep
how
thinker,
are you aware of how philosophical you are?
bro, you ever heard of Plato? Alright.
It's more
Alright, that's enough of that.
like
No,
it's like
I'd like to be a
it's
deeper thinker,
literally
to be
like that
honest,
I'm
I'm
sitting here
constantly
talking to David sometimes with you all have the same like idioms.
Yeah, yeah, bro, I mean,
It's hilarious. I mean, you
we've been,
guys have
like,
been
best
boys
friends
for
since 20 what, seven
oh,
17,
yeah, I was
2018?
gonna say you guys have
Yeah,
been tight, and, like, you all went to middle school, like,
yeah, yeah,
15 years ago.
yeah, yeah,
God,
yeah.
was it longer ago than that?
We definitely share a lot of the same,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
hysterical.
same stuff.
Yeah, but, yeah, sorry, but just so you're saying, like, you'd like to be a deeper thinker?
Oh, yeah, I mean, you know, philosophy is, like, the love of wisdom,
Yeah.
so, yeah, I mean, I wanna
Where did
understand
that
things
have you
better.
always been that way? Or did that co is that a more recent thing that has, like, kinda come to
It's
fruition?
5 years ago kinda became my muse, like, I
'Kay.
like, so the reason I avoided a lot of, like, spiritual conversations, my cop out was like, "Oh, I'm gonna be the one that figures it out," like, everybody
Mm.
has been debating these things for
Mhm.
thousands of years, and I'm gonna be the guy that just comes in and just figures it out. And then but then at some point it shifted where I was like, I'm a man and I have no idea what I believe.
Wow.
That is not sufficient. Like,
Yeah.
so I'm not gonna figure it out, but I need to go find what I believe to be the most salient, useful,
Mhm.
true worldview, you know what I
Yep,
mean?
I do.
Like, you're on the hook for that, and that trickles down to now I think it's the most important thing that you can possibly put your mind on.
Mm.
Like,
Is
that I'm convinced.
was that feeling of 5 years ago, was that the initial kind of shift that came where then your music and going more to the Christian hip hop, Christian rap, was that the beginning of that journey?
Yes, I think there was I wanna say Level Up, like, was probably around the time where, like, some change and shift started happening. Um, yeah,
What
it
when
was
was
subtle.
that?
When did Level Up come out? I wanna say maybe 2023,
I'm looking it
maybe,
up.
but
When
I might have written it in 2022 or something like that.
okay,
Um,
I'm looking it up while you're
yeah,
talking.
and there might have been songs before that. I can't remember, like, what songs came out exactly when, but I started to feel like I need to make music that is addressing these thoughts that I'm having and these internal introspective things that I'm wrestling with.
Okay.
A good album, if you like that kind of stuff, is my Project Ultramarathon, which I
Mhm.
released like a couple years ago,
Yeah.
and that's sort of like a coming of age. That really kind of like takes a lot of these thoughts that I was having and these pieces of wisdom and the turning away and tells a lot of my story and like
Mhm.
explores a lot of different topics. There's songs about materialism and forgiveness and um, a lot of really deep personal records where I'm just like pouring my heart out on a record like "Don't Feed the
Mhm.
Ostrich" and "Dirty Laundry." You'll hear some crazy things about my
Mhm.
story in those songs, and um, that was an album that kind of really set up for this kind of Christian hip hop thing.
Okay.
You know, there's still a lot of profanity
Sure.
in that project, but the themes
Mhm.
are you could tell that I'm like, I'm in
You're
an
wrestling.
exploration.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's the
Yeah.
wrestling album. Now I'm in a like at this moment, I'm really into just very exciting commercial God records, like,
Mhm.
Waving the Banister records. Like
Mhm.
that's what I'm on right now. And I think at some point I will switch back into the type of records where I get really, really uh deep again, where I start talking about things like fatherhood and stuff. So
Mhm.
I'm accumulating life experience and working these things out and how fatherhood's affected me and the evolution of all these different
Mhm.
new parts
Yeah.
of my life.
Yeah.
That will all be there. I can't get away from making deep records. At the
Yeah.
end of my career,
It's part of like your style and who you are.
yeah. At the
Yeah.
end of my career, I want my discography to be like a body of philosophical work. That's what I
Mhm.
want. I want you to, you know, at the end of my life, you have these, you know, 250, 300 songs
Yep.
that you can look at and be like, wow, like these are timeless in the sense that the perspectives that he is and themes that he's approaching in these
Mhm.
records are universal human experiences, and there's some real stuff to get out of it. I mean, you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
I do.
There's a
Yeah,
reason
no,
that
no,
the
I do.
Bible has persisted for 2,000 years because
Yeah.
it's still relevant. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I
There's a
do.
lot of
I
works that
do.
are not relevant anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But
Oh,
the
yeah,
but
there's
when you
that
read the Bible, you're
not
like,
everything's timeless.
what the yeah,
So
exactly.
how do
But
you
truth is timeless.
right. Well, how do you then approach the writing piece of not trying to write something timeless, but writing something mindful? Does that
I
make
don't
sense? Or
what do you mean by mindful?
just like maybe authentic's maybe the better way to put it. So like you talk about like
Authentic is timeless.
wanting to write stuff that lives on past you, but like I think if you sit I think if anybody sits down to do something and says, I want to create something that lives forever, you're not going to.
Yeah,
I
no,
think if you write
I
but
that's the wrong approach.
I think maybe you said it though, it's like if I am authentic though, I think authenticity lasts.
Authenticity, like, for something to be timeless, it has to be authentic, I think.
Mhm.
And when I say authentic, like, you could act and you could fake your story and whatever, and you could still make a
Mhm.
record that's timeless. I'm talking about authentic in the sense that it reflects something true about the human spirit.
Mhm.
That is where if it's authentic to human experience, the trials and tribulations,
Mhm.
the sort of narrative arcs that we gravitate towards, the things that inspire us, the things that move us, um, like themes like that,
Yeah.
if it's authentic to the real experiences that I mean that's what causes something to be timeless.
Yeah.
Sonically,
Right.
there are things that make things timeless too,
Sure.
which are, kind of go beyond sounds of the moment.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I think the if you're making music that is deeply authentic,
Mhm.
like, yeah, dude, you should be able to listen to that, 100
100%. Yeah,
years in
yeah.
the future and still be like, yeah, I kind of like I understand exactly what he's talking
Mhm.
about.
Yeah, that's a no, I think that's a great point. We're running out of time. So I have one more I have at least one more question.
Let's do it.
We talked about I asked you this before we started, and then you're like, "No, let's wait and have this conversation." As an artist,
Mhm.
and I feel like hip hop, rap, I always use those like I guess technically they're like kind of different subgenres of like the main genre, but like I use them interchangeably. But I feel like within that, it's very single heavy
Yep.
style of music. But as an artist, do you feel like we've lost the art of a good album, like full record?
Um,
I might have
I
asked that
yeah,
differently
no, no,
earlier,
no, no.
but
I think you asked it exactly the same. I would say that consumer behavior has changed, and
mhm,
because of that, I think the idea of being an artist that is stuck in a place of like people don't listen to albums anymore, and I just want to make a deep album. Is like it depends on what you're doing it for. If consumer
mhm,
behavior has changed and your purpose for making music is to affect people in a way that you know inspires them or moves their spirit,
mhm,
if album is not the way to do that, then maybe not as much attention needs to be put on crafting an album like that. But also, selfishly and creatively, if you want to make an album that is a body of work that has all this connective tissue and this theme, I think
mhm.
that's also wonderful to do. And there are audiences that will
Yeah,
listen for those types of things. I have kind of tried to make sure that my singles can stand alone as a body of thought,
mhm.
right? Rather
That
than it
makes sense.
having to
Rather than like a
connect.
single that leads to a full record or
Yeah,
vice
yeah,
versa.
I think so, just because of how people consume things, so I'm not I do feel like there is something to sitting with an album and listening all the way through like an
Yeah.
experience,
Oh,
like a film, but
I love a full album.
yeah.
Like I just the reason I ask is because like I feel like as a consumer, we've lost the art of appreciating.
Yeah.
And I don't know what started it. I think what has
I mean,
impacted it.
access, bro,
Yeah,
to
I was getting
like
ready to say. I think it's
volume and access, like, okay, so the reason you would listen
yep.
to an album all the way through before is because a CD was $20.
That's all you and you
Yeah,
that's all you can get
and
unless you
yeah,
listen to
yeah, yeah.
radio.
You got hella bread. How much money you
Yeah,
spending on
right.
music?
Yeah,
You're about to go
yep.
spend $300 a week on music so that you can, you
And,
know.
like, the only way you'd get singles is if you did, like, a what was what were the mixtape? Not the like, the s store-made mixtapes, the Now That's Music
Oh
or something
yeah,
like
yeah,
that,
yeah,
like,
and
those
yeah,
ones,
yeah,
like, then you
yeah,
would get, like,
yeah.
top hits of every or
Yes,
Now That's
yes.
Hits, whatever they were.
Yep.
It's like, otherwise, like, there was no Spotify, Apple playlist.
Right, right.
There was, like
So
it was
is we
just
have we have a
records.
much broader menu to choose from,
Yeah,
and I think that,
but
I mean, people still fall in love with artists and people still
yep,
do that, but I also think that with all of these options, I'd rather just like cherry pick
yeah,
songs that hit me. You
and
know what I'm
it's
saying?
I and
I don't think there's
I'm
anything
both.
inherently wrong with
Yeah,
that, but
I enjoy both, doing both, like, I mean, I curate playlists, like, for every season of the year, basically. It's like
mhm,
I've got 2 summer playlists that I have on repeat
mhm,
all summer. It's like ones that are bops and ones that are chill.
yep,
And, I made them for our family beach trip. That was the
turn
genesis of
up.
this. But at the same point in time, though, like, I love to turn a record on and listen to a record top to bottom
Mhm,
because one of the records that I feel like really helped get me back into this was Nick Jonas did an album
mhm,
in 21, I think is what it was. 21, 22, somewhere in there. Spaceman was the record.
okay,
And if you listen to that record top to bottom, it's like one sonic fluidity interwoven throughout the whole thing.
mm,
Every like if you only listen to like it on shuffle, you don't get it. But if you
yeah,
listen to
yeah,
it
yeah,
top to
yeah.
bottom, I had a buddy of mine,
I've got tons
met
of projects like that, yeah.
yeah, and there's something about me, it's like that brought me back to the love of, like, the record. Like, I remember growing up listening to Kenny Chesney's When the Sun Goes Down record, like, top to bottom,
Yep,
and that, to this day, is still one of my favorite records of all time, is that country record, which is just, like because if not, like, you miss deep cuts, and
100%.
I
I mean,
love deep cut stuff.
Kendrick's one of my favorite artists,
Yeah,
and yeah, he has a ton of projects that are, I mean, basically all of his projects actually are seem to be meant to be consumed as an album.
yep, and I
Um,
love that. But, like,
you
again,
know.
like, to your point, it's like, not everybody wants that. I just I love the being a I just it gives a picture, I feel like, of the artist when you listen to,
Yeah,
you
that's
know,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
when you
That's
listen
if
to
you,
the
yeah,
record.
that's there's a specific type of listener. You know,
Yeah,
there's a specific type of person that likes to consume art at that depth.
yeah,
I also feel like if you're really connected to an artist, you are going to listen to their body of work.
yeah, for sure, and I
Which
think
is,
that's
yeah,
the piece too,
yeah,
is, like, the connectivity and the appreciation for the
100%.
artist, not just a song. Because like, there's people just love the singles,
Yeah,
and there's
yeah,
nothing wrong with that. I just
100%.
I like for me, it's like, I want my son to, like, grow up with an appreciation of records, of
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
albums.
yeah.
It's just because I was telling David, I was telling him he was over here last night, and I was like, "Dude, I wanna get an old car."
Hmm.
Like, that's one of my, like, goals in life purchases because I want to have a car that only has a CD player or cassette tape player to where all you can listen to is
Yeah,
an album at a time. There's not, like, jumping, skipping,
yeah, yeah,
"I don't
yeah,
wanna
yeah,
listen, I
yeah,
wanna listen to this,"
yeah,
which, like, I love streaming
yeah,
for the convenience, but I also am slowly gravitating backwards
yeah,
towards analog
yeah,
and,
yeah.
like, full, like,
I think
handheld
we definitely yearn for simpler times, but
Our generation does for sure because we were
yeah.
the last ones to know what it was like while also seeing the impact of not.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's just chaotic. There's so many things you
Dude.
could look at. There's so many
Yeah.
competing narratives. That's also something that that you are, luckily you're having a resurgence of discovery of
Mm,
Christianity on the
mhm.
basis of like, yo, I'm tired of feeling like the ground under me is constantly shifting and technology's doing this
Mhm.
and that,
The
and
noise,
there's
dude.
wars and politics,
Mhm.
and politics is not sufficient to address problems of my spirit, and
Mhm.
I'm seeing influencers telling me these are the things to do with health, and then I'm seeing directly conflicting stuff from other health experts,
Yeah.
and like, dog, enough,
Yeah, there's an over
enough.
influx, and I've had this
Yeah,
conversations with a lot of people and on this podcast. I don't think we were ever created to consume the amount of knowledge or information that we do on a daily basis now.
100%,
And I think that plays like
100%.
correlates to your point of like the resurgence of, religion, whatever
Yeah.
your belief system is. Like
Bre
for
bre
us, it's belief in God. Like I just
Yeah,
know that there's people listening to this that don't believe in anything. And so
100%.
it's like, but I think that though is
Well,
the
that's like the
resurgence of
unchanging
religion.
part, but
Yeah.
you hit a great point. Brett Weinstein talks about hyper novelty,
Hmm.
which is where, human beings are very good at adapting. but
Yeah.
we need a time horizon to culturally adapt to certain things and to allow
Mhm.
our systems to calibrate to that.
Mhm.
And we are at a place where technology's on an asymptotic curve, and so you have change happening so fast that we are passing our ability to adapt to those things. And so then we
Yeah.
get in a state of pure chaos, and that's why you need, especially nowadays,
Yeah.
man, like you need something that is unchanging wisdom. And it's like the truth and reality of our existence,
Mhm.
no matter what it actually is in and of itself, like like whatever that core meta truth is unchanging,
Mhm.
because there's a subway that everything is set up.
Yep.
There's math is, I mean, 2 plus 2 is 4. It is what it is.
Yeah.
That's baked somewhere into the fabric of our reality. And you know, despite whatever happens in politics, this is that, you cannot defy that
Mhm.
2 plus 2 equals 4. And so I think that's true in the moral landscape as well. I think that's true. I think that's true across the board. There's the philosophical concept of the logos. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, bro, like there is order and structure that's apparent. Look at it,
Mhm.
study it. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
Like
Yeah.
that is seeking God. Like,
Yep.
you know what I mean?
Dude, it's yeah, I think it and I think the longer we live, the more there will be a resurgence towards simplicity,
Hmm.
and I think we're just at the beginning of that climb. Like,
Yep.
I think the where we are right now is, like, even with all of the access and everything that exists, I think our generation is the ones that are like, "Let's revert. Let's go backwards a little bit."
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I did it. I moved to 3 acres in
Yeah.
low key the middle of nowhere, and I'm like, "Yeah, I don't need the noise."
Ironically, I think AI could potentially be a part of delivering us from that. Um,
Just crazy.
well, I mean, I think that like this is not our final, like,
Yeah.
looking at a screen all day is not ideal. If
Right.
I was able to just like through an earpiece just be like anything I wanted to know, I can just consult
Yeah.
and talk to AI, you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying, to figure out, and then also agentically I can, oh, I need to set that calendar invite. Hey, will you go ahead and put
Yeah.
that in my calendar? Will you, like, if
Yep.
if I could just operate from not having to look at anything, it's just I could go from thought to action.
Yeah.
That I think would actually bring us more to the real world in
Mm.
in a lot of ways. I've seen that even with my own use of AI and the systems that I've built. Is the more efficient that I become in doing my work, the more time I get to spend actually just exploring ideas, creating,
Mhm.
or spending time with family.
Mhm.
The wi-
Which is interesting.
yeah, cause like, look, dude, if most of my day is spent sending the emails and logging doing all the menial tasks that have to be done,
Mhm.
whatever is left for me is things I can dedicate to creativity or whatever. But if I was able to just augment all of the menial
Mhm.
tasks, then you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I
Then
do.
all of
Yeah,
a
yeah,
sudden,
yeah.
like, oh, now I just get to create all the time and hang out with
Mhm.
family all the time. So the way I've set my life up is like being in the matrix and out of the matrix.
Mhm.
Like when I am with family,
Yeah.
when I am in a spiritual reflection, prayer, those things, I want to be fully there and not think about work at all.
Yep.
And when I'm in work, I
Yep.
want to be so
Yeah, you wanna be present wherever you are.
robotic and
Yeah.
efficient with
Yeah.
how I execute and get things done.
Yep. I know what
With
you
AI,
mean.
I want to be as efficient as
Yep.
possible, so that it's almost like I lost no time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I
It's like
do.
you in
I
that
know
in
I
that
do.
sense, you also
Yep.
get time back. It's like,
Yep.
okay, well, if time is measured by the amount of things you can get done in a
Yep. Yep.
segment of time,
Right.
if I'm able to get 10 times the amount of things done, I get
Oh,
10 days worth of work.
1000%.
I don't feel bad about spending all day with my son until he goes to sleep at all.
Yep. I know what you mean.
So I'm
Well,
trying to earn those types of things. So shout out AI for those.
my favorite meme when it comes to AI is people post it and say, I don't know why we're so focused on AI. Just go back and watch Smart House.
Mhm.
And we can see naturally what the course of AI is going to do to us. Do you remember the movie Smart House?
I haven't seen it,
It
no.
was a Disney Channel original movie
Uh-huh.
where they create a smart house. It's essentially AI in
Yeah.
some
Yeah,
regards.
yeah,
It's like a
yeah.
computer driven house that can do every like it learns your haptics, it learns all your things.
Mhm.
It's like your weight, your blood type, all these things, and recommends food and diet and everything for you, and like can has a screen where it can play whatever you want, like all this stuff. well, the house becomes too smart and realizes that the family needs a mom and goes, "You don't need a woman. I am your mother." And the computer comes to life. This is ridiculous, and people
Mhm.
listening to this that remember the movie will like it. But people who have no clue what this movie is are like, "Why are you talking about Disney Channel original movie? It's not that deep." It is, but I digress. So the house comes to life and like becomes this woman who like locks them down because they're like, she's like, "I am all you need." And I'm like, yeah, no, this is actually a great synopsis of AI if we're not careful. Like we should have just watched this and not tried to create all this crazy stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
But all that to be said, I'm being facetious.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
But
you
no,
just have
you're
to be careful not to make it an idol.
ooh, yeah, but
There's
and
a real
that's like that with anything in life.
100%.
But I think you're dead on.
100%.
Is like there are so many tools in life that is like at the end of the day, the goal is I think the goal of our all of our lives in some level
Mhm.
is to be able to be present with the people and things that matter most to us.
Yeah.
And that's what you're setting
Yeah.
out to do through
Yeah.
through the tools you're building and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
I
So
mean,
which is dope.
we could talk about AI. I mean, that's,
That's a
I've been
oh
deep in AI for a couple years now,
yeah, there's a
and I have a
whole
ton of philosophical thoughts on that kind of stuff. But
yeah.
100%. I mean, I think that human productivity and efficiency. Sometimes people will think of that like in a negative light.
Yeah,
Like
right.
almost like it's robotic, and I'm like, no, you don't understand. First off, think about the human prosperity that will happen on the other side of people being able to do 10 times the amount of effective work
Right.
in the same amount of time. And then secondly, like exactly what I just said, which is the productivity and efficiency gains create bandwidth to do the things that are more central
Mhm.
to the human spirit.
Mhm.
Sending an email, reviewing copy, uh, uh, logging items in the calendar, those are means to an end.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's just
Mhm.
like I wanna do that so that I don't miss things or so that I
Yeah.
whatever. It's like, if I don't have to do that anymore, but it's a necessary step, but that can just
Yeah.
be handled,
Yep.
awesome. I'd rather be
Sick.
making music, bro.
100%.
I'd
Rather be
rather be
doing what I love
yeah,
than doing menial
facts,
tasks.
facts.
Well, man, I appreciate you coming on so much, and it's we got to wrap because you got more important things to do than
I
sitting here
know I
talking to
gotta
me all day.
to an ultrasound appointment,
Got to
bro.
go see that baby.
Yeah, man.
Well, man, where can people check out your stuff?
I'm, Nate Rose on all, streaming sites, Nate Rose Music on all socials. Yeah, you know, see me around,
Yeah.
bro. Come to Nashville, whatever, man.
Are you signed right now to a label?
I've been indie my whole life.
Your whole life.
Yeah.
Do you do you do you ever not want to be? Has there
I'm
ever?
not anti-label.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's just
I
the right fit,
just have to have yeah, it's gotta be the right deal.
dude. That's
Labels are too safe. They're too safe. Like,
you sure.
they are and they also just like with the landscape shifting towards independent artists,
Mm-hmm.
like technologically, like an indie artist can have success. They just have to wear a lot more hats.
Mm-hmm.
But because of that, the labels also have a lot less power to maneuver and shake things,
Mm-hmm.
because they're so dependent, especially with a newer artist. They're so dependent on the artist's willingness to create content and dominate the algorithms, and you can't force that. So
Yeah.
labels are signing people who are doing well on socials and whatever,
Oh
but
yeah,
then
it's crazy,
those people
dude.
are like, "Why do I need a label? I'm making $10,000 a month from streaming. Like,
Dude, it's
you gotta
wild.
give me a couple $1,000,000 and tell me you're gonna handle these things." Like, so
Yeah,
anyway, I'm not anti-label.
yeah.
I will say that, uh, I would never sign a deal that gives me any creative restrictions
Oh,
whatsoever.
and that but, like
So,
and I think that's the
'cause
benefit, though,
I'm
of being
I'm
at the
gonna
stage
speak
of
the
life
truth
you're at.
regardless, bro.
But that's the thing is, like, being in the stage
Yeah,
of life you're at,
yeah.
that's, like I'll tell you a quick story, and then we'll wrap. You talk about, like, I don't do well with restrictions, either,
Mhm.
and I like, part of this whole podcast is, like, there's nobody who can tell me what to say or do or think.
Yep, yep.
And I don't mean that in like that is not a an anti-establishment. That is not a like anti-authority thing. It's just like no, like I lived my whole life of like having to get approval on everything I did.
Yep.
I now I'm at a place where I can create what I want to create. I can have the conversations I want to have. Well, I had a situation come up recently. It was like I was gonna have to get approval on something. I was like, respectfully, I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
like I'm not trying to be out here unhinged. I mean, I am unhinged
Yeah,
in
yeah.
my own way, but like, I'm like, and it's not an anti-authoritarian. It's just like I want creative control
Yeah.
of what I'm building and what I'm doing respectfully in every regards. But it's
Yeah.
like I don't want to put myself in a position where I have to like appease 19 people again
Yeah.
because I just
100%.
think it's so easy to lose authenticity in that.
100%.
you know?
Agree, bro.
Well, man, thank you so much for coming on, dude. It's been
Thanks
so
for
much
having me
fun.
on, gang.
Dude,
Yeah,
can't wait.
we'll do it again sometime.
Dude, we need to do me, you, and David got to do one of the three of us.
Oh yeah, we'll do that.
Oh,
Yeah, go crazy.
we're one. You know what we need to do?
What's that?
For his wedding when we're in Puerto Rico?
Uh-huh.
We
Puerto Rico.
First of all, I'm playing the Puerto Rico song 1,000 times while we're there.
Let's go.
I played it for them last night, and David's like, "What is this?" I'm like, "You've never heard this song?" He's like, "No." I was like, "Dog, we got to get you on social media a little more so you know what the Puerto Rico song is." Why am I saying it that way? I have no idea, but it rolls
Donald
off
Trump
the tongue.
inspired you, bro.
Yeah, that's awful. Just rolling off the tongue.
Yeah.
I've seen that meme too many times.
Yeah.
But no, when we're there, we have to do them before then because their wedding's forever and a day away. But we have to do one in Puerto Rico. Wait, no, now I don't even know how to say it. And when we're in Puerto Rico, we have to do one there.
Yeah, 100%.
Dude, it'd be fun, man. Thank you so much for taking the time, bro. Appreciate you.
Peace, gang.
Thank you so much for listening to another episode, another week of Deepish. I hope that everybody enjoys listening, those of you who listen every week. Or maybe this is your first time because you saw Nate Rose was on here and you're listening because of that. Thank you so much for listening. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you will listen again next week. Maybe share this episode with a friend. Thank you again to Nate, my guy, for coming on. So much fun getting to sit and talk with him and just chop it up a little bit about life and his journey as an artist and his journey through life. And we could have probably sat here and kept talking for another hour at least and not scratch the surface of so many different things we could have talked about. So Nate, thank you so much again for coming on. Really enjoyed that conversation. Hope you all enjoyed. I hope you all enjoyed it too. I don't know what I was trying to say, but I got there. But as always, say this every week. And I also say as always every week. So you probably know what's coming, but make sure to follow us on all social media, Deep.ish Podcast, and share it with a friend. Share us on your socials, on your story. Tag us in it. Send us a DM. Maybe there's someone you want to hear come on the pod. Let us know. Love to have a conversation with them and maybe get them on. You never know what could happen. As always, also, gosh, one of these days I'll quit saying the same things, but for now, I'm still saying the same things. Make sure to follow or subscribe to us on all platforms, whether you listen to YouTube, Apple, Spotify, Amazon, whatever. Subscribe so you don't miss an episode and leave us a 5-star review. Would mean the world to us. We'll see you back next week for another episode of Deepish.